Hello to you all. The Costa Rica Plastic Ocean's team heading off at, well, literally in less than 2 weeks on the 22nd of April. Super exciting. Sorry this hasn't happened before, but with Easter, I kind of lost my timeline. So apologies for that. Anyway, here we all are. The purpose of this meeting is so that after this meeting, you feel fully informed and ready to go, knowing what to pack, what to wear, how much money you need, etc., etc. So I am going to rattle through, and it'll probably take 20 minutes, okay? Your itinerary, flights, money, costs, phones, SIM cards, Wi-Fi, kit list, washing, post, personal admin, health and safety, okay? So we've got to rattle through. At each section, okay? Stick your hand up, wave, buzz, whatever to get my attention and ask away, okay? So that, you know, you get the most out of this session. So to kickstart, I am just going to get your flight information up, okay? Just going to check that we have everybody's flights. We have everybody's flights apart from Sophia. I haven't got your flights here. Alice isn't here. If you could let us know what they are. And as far as I can see, everybody has booked or is booking their exit flight. As a reminder to you all, to enter Costa Rica, it is critical that you have proof of you leaving Costa Rica. That can either be in flight form or bus form or horse and cart form, but it has got to be proof. Okay, we have had people before that have ignored my nagging and get to Costa Rica and they are turned away and put on the first plane out of the country. You don't want to be that person. Okay, so regardless of what flight you arrive on, okay, you are going to be met at the airport. Okay, so when you come out of the airport at Costa Rica, you go through these big, huge doors onto a kind of exit area covered, but it's external, it's outside covered area. Wait there. Do not wander off to the coffee shops because, you know, if the guide isn't there with the sign, Leap Chiquera, Costa Rica Leap, I can't remember what they exactly says, but you will recognize it. If they're not there, they're just parking up and they've got caught snarled in traffic. So don't wander off. You, regardless of your flight, will be then taken to the Rosa of America for your first 2 nights. I'll explain why. But the first night, you will all be taken there and you will all there. That is your meeting point. It's a cute little hotel, very local. So it's, you will kind of think interesting design when you go inside, but it's got beautiful gardens. It's got a swimming pool, masses of kind of tropical birds and everything. And it's in a kind of gated community. So you are super safe there. You can just wander about and just chill your beans and relax until everybody arrives dribbling in that day. Okay, supper that night you will have in the Rosa. This will be your first welcome to Costa Rica and welcome to beans and pinto. So brace yourself for lots of beans and pinto. You will learn to love it. You will have it for breakfast at the Rosa, lunch, tea and supper. That is what they specialize in. So that will be your first introduction. Now, we're going to stay an extra night in the Rosa because we just want to experiment. We've done this before in having a day where we take you to the volcanoes outside Santa Teresa. The reason we're doing this is that at this time of year, it can begin to rain. So the more activities, the better. So we're going to come back to kit list. I don't want everyone to think, no, it's going to rain every single day. It's so not. But we're just kind of mixing it up. So first day, you're going to go to the iconic volcanoes, which are on the edge of San Jose. Breakfast and lunch is included. Supper is not included, because there's this fantastic little cafe just outside the Rosa where I went to, really, really local. They'll give you these really revolting drinks, kind of things full of worms and horrors, but it's a really fun place to go. So I imagine that's where you would choose to go on your first night. Okay. Then you are off on your long tour. It takes about 6 to 7 hours to get to Santa Teresa the next day. You are going to be in Santa Teresa for, I've put in your itinerary, which I will be uploading to your MyLeap later, and I'll just send it by email for ease, is you just visualize you're in Santa Teresa for the first 4 weeks, give or take a day or two. But within that 4-week section, which is in week 2, you are going to nip off and out further up the coast to Cirenas for your first turtle conservation phase. So it's going to work. You're going to have 1 week in Santa Teresa, bedding in, learning your Spanish, learning to surf, getting to grips, making new friends. Week 2, you're going up the coast to Cirenas for your turtle conservation, permaculture. It's the most beautiful place. Week 3 and 4, you're back in Santa Teresa doing your plastic ocean projects, more Spanish, more surfing. Then you move off to Monteverde for your cloud forest phase. And then you end up at Samara for about 9 days at the end, which is Samara Beach, more yoga, more surfing. That's your kind of downtime. But that's when you will be split into 2, and you will back-to-back going to your second turtle conservation phase, which is at Asvo, which is the polar opposite of Cirenas. And we do this for a reason. So Cirenas is a privately run reserve. It's super snazzy. Everything works, super chic, accommodation, Asvo is government run. But so the funds are very basic. So the accommodation is, I would just visualize in your head a tin shack on the beach. Okay, tin shack, bunk beds, hot and sweaty. It's your Robinson Crusoe experience, but everyone loves it. You're only there for 2 nights, showering with a hose, all helping cook the food. But the location is second to none. You're on this amazing beach, kind of, you have to get to it by crossing a river. It's really exciting, and it's most people's highlight. Don't know why, but it is. So I predict that you will love it. At the end, you have a couple of days back at Samara all together, celebrate your 6 weeks, and then vroom, back to San Jose and home, or onward travel, whatever you fancy doing. Okay, so any question on your order of events of your itinerary? What you're expecting? All happy? Great. Okay, so now I'm just going to describe each. People always say to me, how much money do we need? What's the Wi-Fi like? So I'm just going to take each section, each location, and describe it. Okay, so Rose of America, we've done. This first phase, when you're going to be in Santa Teresa, you are going to be living at the Jaquera camp. Now, Jaquera are partners of ours. They have been our partners for, I would say, nearly, God forbid, about 15, 16 years. They are awesome. They're so organized, and this is their home. So Chris and his lovely wife and all his kids, and I've lost track of how many relations, work there now. This is their home. They are all about volunteering, and they receive volunteers from the Leap, and also from the equivalent of the Leap, which is based in the Netherlands. So at any given point, they will have a Leap group and a Netherlands group working side by side. Now, you do different programs and have different leaders and accommodation, but the way it is designed, Jaquera, think 5-acre plot surrounded by jungle, pool in the middle, terraces where you've got hammocks, barbecues, pizza ovens, a big kind of dining room area where you all eat, surround and dotted around the garden, and you've got various bungalows where you all live. And in those bungalows, you're in bunk bed style accommodation. You've got flushing loos. You know, it's all very civilized. Delicious food, usually on the vegetarian side, but you'll find that that's across the whole of Costa Rica. But they do really good food there. So at any one time with the LEAP group and with the Netherlands group, there could be about 50 of you in camp at any one time. So it's buzzy, it's social, it's buzzy. Some groups mix with the Netherlands group, some people don't. So you're just going to run with it and see how it unfolds. While you're there, from a practical point of view, you're having breakfast and lunch included. Do not skip those meals because they're really good and really healthy. Supper is out and about. Now, to keep costs down, you can get supper in camp, and well, not every night, but you can by going to get your own food and cooking it in camp, which I highly recommend because it's cheap. They occasionally put pizza nights on or sushi nights, you know, which you could just kind of $10, $15 and off you go. Or you go to one of the many restaurants, cafes, local cafes in Santa Teresa. Now, Santa Teresa is, best way to describe it, the Ibiza of Costa Rica. Okay, it is a super cool location. Okay, it's uber stylish. You've got George Clooney with his villas hidden up in the jungle. You've got all these really snazzy sushi bars, cocktail bars, pizzerias, you know, you name it, you've got it on the strip. The strip probably is about 2 kilometers long. What I mean by that is when you enter Santa Teresa, you think, is this it? It's just a lumpy, bumpy road full of potholes with a few shops down the side. And then you have a kind of few cafes. Then you've got nothing. Then a few more cafes. It does go on for about a kilometer, maybe 2. And then you've got the beach, the road, well, beach, row of houses, a road, and then a hill with all the luxury villas stuck up that hill. Yours is up there too, about a 10-minute walk up a hill. You'll be super fit by the end of it. Anyway, you've got to, why I'm talking about these restaurants is you've got to be mindful, okay? Costa Rica is expensive. It is one of the most expensive countries in Central South America. So when are you filling your form at the end and I ask you the question, how much money did you spend? I do not want any of you saying you've spent 500 quid a week. Why didn't you tell us Costa Rica is expensive? I'm warning you now, and parents listening to this, drill this into your brains. You are not going to spend more than £200 extra a week, and you're going to do that by being super careful. This is not the place to be buying cocktails at 20 quid a cocktail. It's all there, it's all available, but you're not going to make that choice, are you? You're going for a beer, $1.50. Okay, so you've got to be mindful. In the camp, there's great Wi-Fi, not sufficiently good enough so that you can download movies, but good enough for WhatsApping, Instagram, that type of stuff. All the cafes and restaurants, they've got good Wi-Fi, so you won't find it a problem at all. Getting your clothes washed when you're in camp, easy peasy. You can give it to somebody for about $10 a load, or you just go down into the town to the local laundrette, or you do it yourself. Choice is yours. Okay, but it's super easy to manage. The staff, you're going to have a leader appointed to you who will be your leader throughout the 6 weeks. But when you're in Jaquera, you're going to meet all the other staff. Jack is our favorite. He's in charge. He lives on site. He is really the man in charge now. He's absolute heaven. He's used to run our programs in Kenya, and he's now been doing it in Costa Rica for the last year. So he really knows his stuff. If you've got any problems or any worries, go to him. But any of the staff, Peggy, Lily, all of them, they're all in the office, right on the camp, ready to make your experience fly. Okay? So any questions about Jaquera camp? No? Right. Cirenas. Okay, this is the Des Res luxury privately run reserve, 45 minutes up from the beach. The tide's right, and it depends on the time of year. You can actually walk there. It takes about 2 hours, or you go on a lumpy, bumpy car journey, which takes about 45 minutes. When you get there, you are in rustic accommodation, but it's stylish accommodation. It's really nice. You know, you are in bunk beds, but it's beautiful. And what they're trying to do there is, for the local community, is become totally self-sufficient. So yes, you're involved with the turtle conservation, but you also will learn about permaculture, composting, all sorts of weird and wonderful things. The food there, well, when I was there, was utterly delicious. So I hope that is still the same. And they've got the same chef, but again, very vegetarian, healthy based diet. No Wi-Fi here. Okay. Barely any electricity. Well, you do have electricity, but it's, you know, it will go off. It's all generator based. So what we really try and do at Cirenas is, and I know some of you will absolutely hate this, is put your phones away for 4 days, 4 or 5 days. Literally put them down, lock them in a box and walk away, and try and have a real detox when you're here. Parents freak out about this because they think, oh my God, how am I going to get hold of them? Don't worry, if there's a problem, we will get hold of you. But just to be aware that the leaders will try and prize your phones off you at this point in time. It doesn't always work. There's always a lot of pushback, but it is a really good, healthy thing to do. I don't know personally if I could live without my phone for 5 days, but I would think I'd be up for a go, up for trying. The next phase, when you're in Monteverde, okay, that is your cloud forest phase. Now, this is the adventure capital of Costa Rica. This is where you go bungee jumping, zip wiring, you can go on coffee tours, you can go on horse riding, you can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. The main two experiences that people opt for is the zip wiring, which is about $65, and the bungee jump, which is about $85. So if you're budgeting, okay, and I'll do a roundup of the budgeting at the end, those are the two main things people choose to do. Frankly, I think the bungee jump is ridiculous. You don't need to do it, because on the zip wire, at the end of the zip wire experience, before you whip off your harness and you think, hey, I've just done that, they have this jungle thing, this jungle Tarzan jump, where you literally get whisked up to a really high platform and you free fall off it and then fly over the jungle and fly back. So that's like a kind of halfway house to a bungee. If you're on a budget, don't do the bungee and just do the Tarzan jump. Okay, but in Monteverde, this is it's a tiny little town. You know, it's got, you know, crossroads. It's got a few pizzerias. It's got a few shops, but it's really small. It's cooler because you're higher up. So you've gone from the hot and sweaty up, much cooler. You'll need a fleece and maybe some long trousers. Every day you will have an activity which is a free activity, like in the morning, going on the hanging bridges, doing these sunset hikes, going to the hike right to the top so you can see the Pacific and the Atlantic. It's a hiking style environment. So every day you'll be taken on a free kind of included adventure, but you will have time free to do the kind of paid, weird and wonderful extra things that you might want to do. If you don't want to do it, it doesn't matter. You can just chill and relax. When you're in Monteverde, breakfast and supper is included. No, breakfast and lunch is included. Supper is extra. Again, try the local soda bars. Okay, the soda bars, SODA. Try and kind of seek them out. I know you'll probably be bored of pinto and rice, but they're so much fun because you've got the kind of the local family. You know, you basically eat with them, serving up delicious food. So try and seek out those, and they're so much cheaper. When you're at Cirenas, by the way, all your food is included. Okay, so Monteverde, again, good Wi-Fi. You're living in a hostel, which we use all the time, kind of pretty much kind of taken it over full time, which is right in the center of town. It's lovely, it's comfortable. I've stayed there with a group of my friends. It was great. So ticks the list. Then at the end, your final phase, Samara, okay? Beach phase, Samara, much smaller. I'd say if you've got Santa Teresa, which is the Ibiza, Samara is kind of Mallorca. You know, it's much more low-key, less, you know, you don't have the sushi bars here. So it's much smaller, great, you know, the surf isn't as good as Santa Teresa, but it's good enough. Here you're doing a little bit of surfing, a little bit of yoga, and you will go off to the ASVO for your Robinson Crusoe experience. In Samara, you're staying in a hostel. There is Wi-Fi. Again, breakfast and lunch included, supper is extra. When you're in ASVO, all meals are included and it's cooked by yourselves, okay? So it is a, you know, all hands on deck. So I hope some of you know how to rustle up a good pasta dish. So that is your itinerary and the logistics of each, you know, what is provided in each area. So any questions up to now? No? Oh, good. Okie dokes. Well, I'll carry on. Phones. Okay, now we're going to go into the nitty gritty. Phones. Please take 2 telephones. Okay, you're going to take your current whizzy up-to-date telephone with everything on it, okay, and you're going to try not to lose it. Smash it, drop it in the sea, and do all those things. But invariably in every group somebody does. So to get a replacement phone in Costa Rica is near impossible. It is near impossible. It is so expensive. I know that most of you, if you're anything like us, have a drawer in the kitchen full of random stuff, including an old phone knocking about. Shove that in your rucksack and just hope you don't have to use it. But it would be super useful if your main phone gets damaged. SIM cards, okay? As I've said, you could get Wi-Fi in most places, apart from when you're at the 2 conservation, turtle conservation areas, okay? You can get a local SIM card, and that on the first day in Santa Teresa, you will be taken out and shown how to do that. Some people do, some people don't. It's totally up to you, but don't think about doing it beforehand because it's easily done when you're there. Money, okay? As I have highlighted, Costa Rica is super expensive. I want you to budget no more than 200 quid extra per week, okay? For your suppers, drinks, and fiddling about. On top of that, though, I would budget. There are 3 main things that people choose to do. 1 is the zip wire, $65. 2, the bungee jump, $85. And 3, it's going on this boat trip to Tortuga Island, which the last look was about $70, and that could happen on one of the weekends. Everybody loves that. That's where you go and spot the dolphins and the whales and go snorkeling, and it's a full day out. And that's done by Zumba tours from Santa Teresa. So it's completely, you know, but everybody loves doing it. So those are the 3 main things that people do budget for, okay? Anything else that you do is probably kind of $10, $15. So it's not going to break the bank. If any of you are really keen and love yoga, in Santa Teresa, there are masses of yoga places, yoga studios. Typical yoga lesson there costs anything between $12 and $15 for an hour. So just in case you are kind of yoga fiends. But that is what I would have to budget for. Roughly throughout your 6 weeks. How to get your money out? I would take $100 cash, every single one of you have on you for emergencies. That's just good practice. I would all of you take out 2 bank cards, one being your normal debit card and the other being a Revolut, Starling, the least favorite being Monzo. If you've got a Monzo, it's okay. It can be accepted in some banks, but not in all. Whereas Revolut and Starling are accepted everywhere. So take your normal bank card and your Monzo, Revolut, or Starling. Okay. What I would do as good practice is you never, ever take both cards out at the same time. You only take out one, you get your money out, you go back to camp, you squirrel them away, get locked away, and then you just take out the amount of cash you need for any given time. You do not walk about with masses of cash, cards, and everything on you, okay? When you're on the leap, when you're traveling, full stop, okay? So just get into that good practice. The local currency, colon, I know, a strange name for it, but it is, that do not try and get that out before you get to Costa Rica. Get it out from the ATM when you're there. Okay, it comes in denominations of about 1 million colons to the pound. So you feel hugely wealthy. And literally, you know, 50 quid feels like about that much, a wodge of cash that comes out. So little and often. Okie dokes. Any questions on the money? No. Okay. Kit list. Okay. Have a look at the kit list in your MyLeap area. Everything on that kit list is there for a reason. We have not made it up. Okay. So follow it. Billy, hide your ears for a minute. Girls, talking to you. Weirdly, in Costa Rica, you cannot get Tampax or sanitary towels. Don't ask me why, but you can't. They don't exist. And you can come down now, Billy. You just can't get them in Costa Rica. So take enough out for your entire trip. Okay? It's a weird thing. We don't know why. So yes, on that kit list, have a look, but less is more. You can buy anything that you want clothes-wise from in Costa Rica. When it comes to shoes, two things people always ask about: shoes and luggage. Shoes, you are not taking more than 3 pairs of shoes. Okay, if you think you're taking more than 3, think again. Okay, you're going to take a pair of kind of shoes that you're going to wear every day. Most people take a pair of Crocs. I know, ugliest shoes in the world, but so practical. Or those plastic Birkenstocks, you know, the 2-strap Birkies. Those, I have to say, are the shoe of choice. Plus, you're going to take a pair of trainers, which you don't care about, are grippy, so you can trek through the cloud forest. You can do project work in them. You can get paint spilled on them. You can play football in them. They can get absolutely trashed. And a pair of shoes that you have no intention of bringing home. And then the third pair would be your nice shoes, trainers, which you wear to go out in the evenings. Okay? That's all you're going to take. Oh, crikey, we're going to run out of time, right? That's what you're going to take. When it comes to your suitcase, you are not going to take a hard shell suitcase. No, you're not. You're going to take a rucksack or duffel bag. Any type of bag which is soft and squishy that you can kind of shove under a bed, shove in a corner, shove on the top of a minibus. It could be strapped up, okay, so that it's malleable. Okay, we don't mind what it is, but it is not to be a hard shell suitcase on wheels, right? The other thing that's really important to take is a good day rucksack for kind of hikes, taking all your stuff around, carrying everything. So that's a good piece of kit to have, but have a look at the kit list. The last thing I want to discuss is your personal admin and health. Please tell us the weirdest and wonderful things that you think might not be important when it comes to your health, physical health, mental health, dietary loves, hates, everything. Let us know what they are. Okay, we hate surprises. So just be honest. Everything is treated with huge discretion and privacy, but we need to know. Health and safety when you are out there, okay? You are all going as a team. Nobody knows. This is when I sound like a school teacher, okay? Nobody knows each other. Okay, you are all looking for friends, and clearly you're going to get on with some than others. The whole idea of this experience is that you work as a team and you look after each other as a team, and you respect each other's needs. Some of you are going to have low days, high days, morale. Just look out for each other. When you get to each phase, the leaders, especially Jack, will sit down with you on day one in Santa Teresa and say, this is how we need you to behave. Okay. All the problems happen when people start getting drunk. Okay. You're way beyond that now, kind of silly drunken behavior. Yes, we want you to have a few drinks. Of course we do. But really drunk, really aggressive when you get drunk, throwing up in the accommodation. That's not what we're after. That's not what we're about. Okay. Being an idiot, not being a team player. If that happens, you will then get I know you're all going to hate this, you're going to get an email from me saying, wind your neck in, okay? Get back to being a team player. If you then can continue to be an idiot, you're then going to get this as an official written warning. If you don't change your ways, we're going to throw you off the program. No money back, end of. Okay? So that is irresponsible, irritating behavior, which everybody just offends everybody. And if you're caught taking drugs, okay? Drugs is a definite no-no. Of course, you're in Central America, like anywhere in the world, you can get it. But if you seek it out, you're seeking out the bad guys, it's not good for you and it's dangerous, okay? And we're just not putting up with it. So you've been warned. There we go. Teacher's hat off. Back to the happy place. So that is all I want to say. Are you all happy? Are you all excited? Cool. Thanks, Billy. We like the thumbs up. One last thing. When it comes to your Spanish lessons, do not start freaking out. I know we get a few calls saying, God, I'm actually hopeless at languages. Don't worry. This is not a school experience. Learning the Spanish is to help you get around, because Central America, English is not their first language, okay? It's done in a really relaxed environment. Peggy and Lily are awesome teachers, so you will make progress. You will be able to communicate as you go around, okay? But if you are good at Spanish, you will clearly go into the intermediate or advanced classes, and you will be pushed, so you can work it. What I'm trying to say is we will work to everyone's level, all right? So that's it. I think that's everything. But if you've got any questions between now and going, give us a call and I'll upload your itineraries later today. Okie dokie. Bye all. Happy travels.
Thank you.